Hey guys, and welcome back to World of Animals. In today's video we are going to do a rescape of this nano tank here right on my desk. I promised that in the last video, so now we will do it. I don't like this tank anymore because, as you might see, it's covered in algae and the plants are not doing that well, so yeah, I want to change it. And I have a setup in mind. I want to create like a mountain sticking out of woods or forest, and the mountain or big rock is made out of wood. If that makes any sense. Like, we will use the same hardscape that's already in here. I have to remove the plants and the algae and the background. I don't want that anymore. And then we will replant it. For this tank we will use the fluvial stratum and mostly glossostigma and a small type of Vallisneria. So let's get into it. So I just started to remove the hardscape and the plants, and one thing I didn't know was that there were still some shrimp in here. That's kind of surprising. But yeah, so we have to catch them out and find a new home for them. But I have plenty of tanks, so that shouldn't be a problem. And another thing is that I wanted to use this carboning plant again. I want to reuse it. I'm not sure if I will be able to, but I will try. So now I cleaned up the whole tank. Now it's clean again. That took me some time actually, because it was pretty dirty. But yeah, now I have to clean the hardscape, and then we can start to scape and plant the tank again. So now I cleaned everything up again. I rinsed the piece of wood I want to use in very hot water so the algae would die off. At first I removed most of it, but now I think there isn't any living algae on this anymore, so that's pretty neat. And when the scape is finished, I wanted to place it like this here to create the mountain look. And I saved all the Anubias and Bucephalandras of the old scape, and maybe I will place them on the wood to simulate small trees or huge trees on this mountain or rock. And in the front goes the glossostigma and in the back the Vallisneria. But yeah, to start with the scape, we take away the piece of wood, and now I will place there some lava rock because I want to go higher with the substrate, and I only have one bag of it, so we don't need too much of it to create the effect of depth in this tank. So now I placed the wood and the lava rock down there, and I made sure nowhere around the whole tank the lava rock touches the edge of the tank, because I don't want to see in the lava rock when the substrate fills the bottom. And like this, the lava rock holds the piece of wood or the mountain, and now we can put the whole bag of substrate on top of it and create a hill in the back of the tank and go more shallow in the front. So everything went as planned. I placed the filter back there, and now we have the shallow part in the front of the substrate of the tank, and you can see it, unfortunately. My bad, sorry. And back here it's much higher. And like this, it creates the illusion of depth in this tank. So now we can wet the substrate down and start planting. For carpeting plants, you always want to create small portions. You can spread out in the whole space you want to get covered with this plant. So this is the Glossostigma. This only was 1 cup, and now I will start planting it, and after that the next one, and hopefully it will look good. So after planting the first few pieces of the Glossostigma, or any carpeting plant you use, you always want to make sure to wet it down properly, because now it's not working. Because if you don't do that, the plants might dry out and they will die. So always make sure to keep your plants wet before you continue. Now I have planted everything successfully except for the faster growing plant for the background. I added another carpeting plant back here, the Bucephalandra wavy green, and some Anubias nana. And that looks pretty cool so far. Now we've filled the tank up a little bit to plant the Vallisneria, and then fill it up completely and finish the scape. Alright guys, now this is the finished scape. Eventually it has to clear up, but I think it looks pretty good. I like the fluid stratum. I used it for the first time, and as you can see, it holds down all of the plants, and that makes me pretty happy. I didn't have any floaters or anything like that. So again, in the front here we have the Glossostigma, in the back some other carpeting plants, and back there some small vallis that will grow in, of course. I think the vallis is the fastest growing plant in here, and after that comes the Glossostigma. And then here we have the Anubias nana petite and the Bucephalandra wavy green. And I hooked up some CO2 for this tank. Eventually it has to start running again. This again is biological CO2, so it has to build up some pressure, but then it will start. It does run already. As you can see, there are bubbles inside of it, but they're not pushing through the top yet, but that will come soon. And yeah, we have our mountain in the middle, and when the Glossostigma grows in, this will look very nice, I think. But yeah, hopefully you liked this video and the scape. I will think about what to put in here, as this tank is cycled, but I have a certain type of fish in mind, so yeah, you can give your opinion if you want to in the comments. I'm always glad if someone writes a comment, and I will do an update, so stay tuned for that, and subscribe and like if you want to. We see us on the next video. Goodbye.